What's up, everybody? Welcome back to My Twisted Life and TV. I am Poetry. You are here for the final recap of Black Lightning. This is the series and season finale, the Book of Resurrection, the closure, episode 13, all of that stuff, right? This season just went on a downward spiral for me. I was in love with Black Lightning, the whole concept of a black superhero family, and I know it was taken directly from the comic books and put onto the big screen. I appreciated the way they wove social issues into the storyline. They wove a lot of history of black people into the storyline here in America. I appreciated that. But then somewhere this season, I don't know what happened. It's like they knew they were ending and the writers just said, fuck it. That's the way it appeared to me. So this season finale, series finale, was lackluster for me as a viewer. It took me a week to actually watch this episode. This season finale came on last week. I finally got through it today. So we open up with everybody confirming that Jefferson was indeed killed by Tobias. They verified that the photo itself was not a fake and that it was definitely sent from Jefferson's phone. Now, whether or not they could tell if he was actually dead in the photo, no. I don't know if they didn't examine the chest raising, the arm movements underneath. No, I don't know what they looked at when they said, yes, he is indeed dead, other than we can see this picture of him laying there, beat the hell up to be damned. And one of the things that Gambi was going off of was the fact that they could not track his signature. They couldn't track his suit. They couldn't figure out where he was at. He was like he just vanished off the face of the earth. So that led them all to believe he indeed was dead. Jennifer, she's dead set on killing Tobias. Like, he killed my daddy. You know what I'm saying? So we need to go in and get him. Now, Anissa is on that too. However, she want a plan. You know, she need to get their powers back in order for them to go after Tobias, which I found strange that even though they got their powers back, nobody went after Tobias. Not a single one of them. Because last they knew, Jefferson was dead. So the people that were alive was all like, I gotta get my powers back so I can take out Tobias. They got their powers back and did nothing with them as far as Tobias is concerned. Not a damn thing. Well, my other thing was that y'all have had powers all these years. Y'all had many opportunity to go toe to toe with Tobias all these years, and none of y'all have been able to successfully take him down with all y'all powers. None of y'all. So what makes y'all think that getting your powers back was going to be any different this time? Well, plus they got Chief Lopez on their ass, right? You know what I'm saying? Well, little they know, she's at least on Lightning's ass. You know what I'm saying? They were worried about Shakur and the task force coming after them. Y'all worried about the wrong one. Okay, for some reason Shakur snuck into Lopez's office and he saw that she injected herself with an energy absorbing power, which means she should be able to take all the energy out of Lightning, but that ain't what happened. Her power should last 72 hours, but when she came up against Lightning, she didn't absorb a doggone thing. Okay, anyway, Shakur called Jefferson because he don't know where he at. He called Black or whatever. No, but of course he got the voicemail. You know, he's like, she off her rockers right now, dog. You know, she be on the lookout for her. She cray. She done injected herself with these powers, you know what I'm saying? Answer your doggone phone. He ain't answer. Then we see Jefferson is not dead. Now I'm thinking, now why in the hell would Tobias not actually kill him? He said that you're going to die the same way your daddy died. So are you trying to tell us that you buried Jefferson's daddy alive? That when you stuffed that newspaper down his throat and choked him with all that doggone ink and paper and all that stuff, when, you know, the asphyxiation, he didn't die then? He was still alive and y'all buried him in the ground alive? Because you said Jefferson was going to die the same way his daddy died. But he's not. He's buried alive. So, Gambi and them traced the emitter to one of Tobias' properties inside a mausoleum. You know, he visits that mausoleum often because that's where Tori was at. And I noticed that in this episode that they tried to make this seem like it was more intense than it actually was. The cast members all spoke their lines very rapidly with urgency, you know what I'm saying? Instead of having urgency in their actions, they did it with their voice and tone of voice. And I wasn't buying it. They played really cheesy, sappy music. You remember Batman and Robin? Da-na-na. Oh, that was Bionic Man. Da-na-na. That type of music. Da-na-na. Da-na-na. Every time there was a scene that showed that there was intensity building, they played that music in the background, which is so 1970s. And it didn't do anything for me in 2021. Well, since Gambi can't see how to get into this mausoleum, they got to figure out some kind of way to come up with a plan. Jennifer is up in the ionosphere, boosting up as she always does, and something seemingly goes wrong, okay? Well, she comes back down full of power. She's like supersonic Jen now. A little bit dizzy though. A little bit forgetful, saying some strange commentary, but she seemed a little bit stronger. However, there was something else up there. Something else seems to be breaking through the ionosphere. You see somebody's face. And then we go back to Jefferson in the teenage years. And I was like, no, that wasn't Jefferson. It wasn't his face. Okay. Gambi is actually burying a body for Jefferson that he killed. Trying to bury some of his bad deeds. Trying to make him, convince him that he's not the same as Tobias because he feels shame about what he did. Maybe at one point in time, Tobias might have felt shame too, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, Gambi said that his kill was justified. That Jefferson can't let go of the sweat and swears to never do it again. He can't let go of the guilt and he swears he's never going to do it again. Of course, Jefferson is like, I think, because he didn't say it, because he was thinking about this particular scene, that them burying that body, covering up what he did, that he's living in a karmic moment right now by being buried alive. You know, now, all of a sudden we go back up to the ionosphere and we see all the particles moving. And all of a sudden they blast together and get boom! China McClain. She's back for the finale, y'all. Back for the finale. And that's what's been left behind in the ionosphere. Remember they talked about that in a few episodes before. There was something up there that they weren't quite sure what it was. It was Jennifer. Okay? Now, when I reported that China McClain had left the show, I didn't know at the time that she was going to be in this finale. I did find out later, but because I don't do spoilers, I don't give out spoilers, I didn't tell y'all that she was coming back for the finale. So I knew she was coming back for the finale. So I wasn't really surprised. What I was surprised about was the storyline behind it. Because I was like, okay, what the hell is up? You know, is she a Gemini? You know, I'm a Gemini, so I can say this, you know what I'm saying? Her twins done got separated. She got split personalities. You know how we do. We got multiple personalities. I was like, no, she's not the real Jen. JJ's not. Which didn't I say? I thought I said that in the beginning. I don't think that's the real Jen. But, you know, Black Lightning definitely said that's not my daughter. He said it time and time again. She is not the real Jen. So while Jen was up and away, this being hijacked her DNA and left her for dead. And I was like, she got her memories too? Yes, she got her memories, her feelings, everything, except for the way that she looked. Okay, so when the real Jen comes home, the fam is out breaking into Tobias's mausoleum for the emitter. I was like, they got in her. It's a little bit too easy for me. Anissa and Grace was in her snapping necks with no powers at this particular time. They was whooping ass with no powers against men with guns at this time. It was not until Gambi blew the room with the emitter that they got their powers back. And the reason why, you know, if you don't know this, their outfits changed. They had a whole wardrobe change. Grace went from talking to growling. Blackbird, you know, throwing the thunder. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Gambi was able to master and bust up the room, you know, gave Anissa and Grace time for their little wardrobe change and take down the rest of security. That's all they did. That's all they did with their powers. They went back home. Nobody went after Tobias like they claimed. My daddy dead. You done killed my dad. When we get our powers back, we can all work together and take down Tobias. Nobody went after Tobias. And they knew where he was at, because Gambi told them that he was in his apartment in the Torrey Towers. They knew where Tobias was at, but nobody went after him. So back at the Batcave, the Jens are about to have a girl fight. You know what I'm saying? Initially, the fight was evenly yoked, but the whole storyline is stupid to me. It was irrelevant to what was already going on the show. I mentioned this before. The China McClain's character, Jennifer, did not seem to be a part of this family at all. She rarely had any scenes with the family. Every time she did something on the scene, in the show, she usually did it solo dolo. She very rarely had scenes with the family. Now, I'm not saying she didn't have any, but it was very rare. Jennifer was a standalone character. So, like I said, this whole story with JJ was just stupid to me. It didn't fit the whole narrative that they already had. You know, JJ basically was a great ball of energy, you know what I'm saying? And she was all in her bag and her feelings that Jennifer had physical form, and that she can coming back and forth to the ionosphere while she got to live up in that doggone place that they call the glaze, like little dust particles, like some pollen, making people sneeze, being annoying and floating around in space. You know, so she stole everything from Jennifer, including those memories that I was talking about. But why all of a sudden did her voice change? It became mechanical sound, and it became this sort of thing like this. You know, how you know when kidnappers call you and they change their voice? That's all of how Jennifer's voice, JJ's voice, all of a sudden started sounding. It didn't make any sense to me. It's not like we couldn't tell the ladies apart. It's not like their voices sound similar. Sure, JJ was able to mimic a lot of China McClain ways to fit into this role, but they didn't sound like. Speaking of broken apart, she almost broke Jennifer apart. Had her down on this arm twist lock, you know, grab twist, grab pull, while Jeff was inside that grave, buried alive, breaking apart, praying to the good Lord that he makes it through heaven's doors if he should happen to die, you know, because he knocking. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. That's what Black Lightning was at this point, right? Now, it looks like JJ, that she, you know, was absorbing, she was energy herself. All of a sudden now her eyes are red too. If they were red before, y'all let me know, because I don't remember her eyes ever glowing red like that. But I was thinking Jennifer should be able to absorb JJ's energy. But she didn't. You know, it looked like JJ was draining her. You know, like I said, her skin's all cracking up, veins popping out and all that stuff. The chief, though, she's outside absorbing the whole city of Freeland's energy. And then while Jefferson's laying in that tomb, he realized he can absorb energy too. At some point, he realized that he got his powers back, but he wasn't strong enough to use them, right? So he's like, he had flashback on the conversation he had with his daddy, and his daddy said, you got everything that you need. You just got to go get it. The Prometheum that's underneath the city of Freeland, since he was already 6 feet deep, he was down there low enough that he could absorb that. And he did so. And now, Black Lightning's back. You know what I'm saying? Well, Jen, she didn't die again. You know, it appeared that she did absorb JJ's energy, and then she just turned herself into this great ball of fire. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. You know, and then she bum rushed JJ and engulfed her in that ball of fire. Well, Chief Lopez said, fuck it, I'll kill Lightning. I was like, you have such hate and vitriol for a teenage child, girl. Like, my goodness, Chief, right? Then she realized that the task force that she set up was there to get her. So she turned around, put her back to Shakur, and lit up the officers behind her. What did Shakur do? Nothing. He stood there with his DG, the other chick there with his DG. They didn't pop her. They allowed her to turn around, face them fully, and put up a whole energy shield to block the bullets they were shooting. They put down the DEGs, I guess to not kill her. I don't know why. Because then they let off 50,000 bullets at her. If the shield wasn't going to hold, the bullets would have killed her anyway, right? Right. So why not just use the DEG? Why did every officer put their DEG down and pull out their little pistolas and ping, 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 ping. And she like, I can do this all day. Okay. Until Lightning dropped in. You know, when Lightning dropped in, Shakur said, everybody cease fire. Everybody stopped trying to kill the chief. They said, Chief, there's Lightning. She turned around to face Lightning. So now her back is to the officers once again. She turned around to fight Lightning. Called Lightning a bitch. Lightning said, I don't like that. So, both of them came with the electricity bolts. Now, Chief Lopez, your power was to absorb energy. So you should have been able to absorb Jennifer's energy. But you didn't. What happened was Jennifer was able to latch on to the energy signal that you were trying to shoot at her. Wrangle you like a god doggone cattle and knock you out. Now, your powers are good for 72 hours. She knocked you out. Oops, upside your head. I mean, you didn't stay down long. But when you got back up, you didn't have no more powers. You didn't try to attack her from the back. You didn't fuck up everybody else. Nothing. Your powers are good for 72 hours. Well, Jennifer trumped the chief. So all is well. Except for this damn fight that Tobias and Black Lightning had. At no time in 4 seasons have Tobias ever felt like he had arthritis in his body, like he was suffering from rheumatism. However, today he seemed to be showing his age. And he was throwing wine glasses and tossing chairs like he was trying out for an episode of Love and Hip Hop. Then he got his ass thrown out a window and pierced through the chest by a flagpole as he recited poetry as his final battle cry. What happened to the rest of his team? I know Big Red dead or gone or arrested. We know Ishmael gone. What happened to Asian Bay? They never did find her. They was able to track her signal, But what happened to her as far as like coming to Tobias's rescue? Tobias had a whole crew of folks. He was running things. Nobody came to his aid. Nope. Well, speaking of final, TC has finally figured out how to lose Khalil from Painkiller and the kill order from Painkiller. The problem is, once he does this, Khalil is not going to remember who the Pierces are or any part of that life. But it got to be done, so let's do it. When he went through his little Frankenstein thing, he came out and he smiled. I said, he remember. Either he remember or it was Painkiller that emerged, not Khalil. Okay. So anyway, the Pierces, they are home celebrating. I guess they're celebrating Anissa and Grace's wedding finally. I guess we didn't get the story. We wasn't shared the where in the hell were you, Jen? How did you come back story. We didn't get to see that part. But Jen is sitting out there feeling some kind of way about the fact that her daddy, Jefferson, was the only one who sensed something was wrong. And everybody else was okay accepting this new Jennifer and convinced Jefferson that he was the one that was being in the wrong. You know, she feels some kind of way about that. Like I said, Jennifer is not being connected to this family. And this makes her feel even less connected to this family. You know? But how did she know that Jefferson didn't believe the fake Jennifer? How did she know this? Were you up there watching from the sky too, the same way TC just said that they was doing, and it was kind of creepy? Is that what you was doing? Well, Jennifer goes inside and everybody say they my bads. I'm sorry, I thought that was you, girl. You know what I'm saying? She accepted their apology. It's a party. They did some little fake church dance and stuff like that. Then Jefferson and Lynn came up and said, you know what, y'all, we getting remarried, kids. They so happy. It's about time. I'm like, yeah, okay. Then Gamby said, you know what, I'm gonna retire too. I'm surprised Agent Bay Lauren wasn't there with him, right? He said, you know, we're gonna leave it up to these youngins to save Freeland. Then we go back to Tobias's house. And I just knew Lala was finna wake up. Because as Jefferson and Tobias was fighting, Jefferson flung Tobias into one of the busts or the concrete stone of Lala that was inside the club, but now it's inside Tobias's home, the towers. But yeah, since it was all cracked up, Lala had the strength to get up out of there and break out the cement altogether. And he walks up to the window, looks out, and sees Tobias's old ass, because once he started dying, he changed back to his real age. Saw his old ass pierced, pun intended, by the Pierces. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the show ended. That was it. That was it. Like I said, I was not as impressed. I thought that they could have went out so much better. There's so much left untold of their story. And now that Painkiller is not supposed to remember who they are, I doubt that the Pierces, This Is Us. The Pierces, I doubt that they're going to end up on the Painkiller show. If they do, it's going to be true that Khalil really gives remember something about them. Alright, y'all let me know what y'all thought about this. I thought some of y'all was excited about it, and y'all said y'all couldn't wait for me to see this review. Sorry I couldn't give it to you any better than this. My delivery is how I saw this show, y'all. This episode, the series finale of Black Lightning. Thank y'all for being with me these last 4 years. I appreciate you. I hope that you stick around and watch some other type of shows that I have on this channel. I don't have anything other superhero-ish. I may do The Witcher. I might do The Witcher this summer. I'm not sure, but I don't have anything else super-ish that I like, that I want to review. If y'all know something, drop it in the comment section. See y'all again in the next video. Peace.